DFW with your hosts, Robbie and Tracy Mitchell.
Hey guys, welcome to Live from DFW. This is Holly Williams, and we're here at Dance With Me studio in Southlake, Texas. We're going to go in and see if Robbie and Tracy can rock the rumba. Come on.
Let's go do this. We'll make it.
Look at these lights.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Hey,
Good morning.
how you doing?
How are you? I'm Tracy Mitchell. I think we talked on the phone.
Robbie Mitchell. Good to meet you.
Yes.
So you're going to be dancing with Brandon today?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Perfect. Thank you. You're welcome.
Hello.
Hi guys. How's
How
it
you
going?
doing?
Welcome
Hi.
to Dance With Me.
Robbie Mitchell.
Robbie, Brandon, Whistler. Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
Tracy. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you. So what brings you guys in?
We need some ballroom lessons of some sort. We have a gala coming up. And,
What kind of gala?
It's a charity event.
A charity event.
Yes.
So we're not sure.
You're
Yeah,
not sure.
we're not sure
Okay.
what we
is
need.
there a live band or?
Yes.
Okay. I tell you what, since you're kind of unsure, let me go grab Yelena real quick and just show you a couple of things to see which ones y'all like the best.
That'd be great.
Awesome.
Come on
All
now.
right. Super.
Thank you.
Guys, this is Yelena.
Hey,
One of
Yelena.
our instructors here.
Tracy, nice to meet you, Tracy.
Yelena.
And this is Todd and Julia. They're taking dance lessons.
Hey,
Good to meet you. I'm sorry.
Todd, how you doing?
Todd.
Yeah.
Julia?
And you're Julia. Hi, Julia. It's good to see you.
So they're getting ready for a charity walk,
get it.
and I want to show them just a little swing, maybe a little rumba, just so they can kind of see which ones they want to try out. Okay. So we got a swing going step, step, rock, step, 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 rock, step. We do a little turn with it. Step, 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 rock, step. See, that's all right. Come on now, guys. Walking
All
out.
right.
Perfect.
Gentlemen, I'll take her brother.
Take your by the arm. So where are you guys from?
Right here in Dallas.
I've done a lot of discoing in the 70s when you wasn't born yet, but yeah, but none of this, so I'm sure you'll need some help.
Oh, you're gonna have some fun with this. All right, so let's go ahead and do a little rumba. So I'm gonna get you guys to join hands.
Okay.
Perfect, just like that. You're always gonna be on the bottom, and you'll be on the top.
Okay.
You start with your left foot, you'll be with your right.
Wait, if this left and my right, land squarely there.
Only if you go into each other.
Okay, so I'm gonna step back with
You're gonna
my
step
right.
back.
Okay, that makes
So
more sense.
bring your feet together for me real quick.
Okay,
So
together.
start with your left foot and back on your right.
Don't
We're gonna
say
go
it
one
so
step
hard.
forward. We're gonna step one forward.
You have
step forward,
counseling
one
if husbands want to break out into
Look.
arguments?
Surprise, so why so many people
Ready?
the other right. Slow and then go side. Together. Perfect. Like that. So the square step, this is your basic rumba box. So what we do is we do it over and over and over. You got a slow quick thing.
Okay, ready?
So let's do it one more time.
Yeah,
We
so
have
good.
and slow, quick, quick, slow, perfect. Quick, quick, slow.
Oh, same way, okay.
Do we actually
Quick.
tap with both feet? When we
You
go
don't want to
square?
tap. Alright, you just want to take that one step and then move it side.
Okay.
Do it slow. Quick, quick.
Got you.
Then lay your head back. Just let it go back.
I was used to the disco in the 70s, and I wasn't used to that.
You're old.
You were-
I'm not sure I was alive in the 70s.
that was fun.
As in 1970?
Yeah.
Oh my
No,
God.
18.
They had those records
Yeah.
back
Yeah, I
then.
hear you.
Yeah,
Keep
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, that was fun though, man. The rhythm of that and trying to get it together. I was used to free dancing without someone. Where you do
Obviously.
your own thing, you know. That's the reason you stepped on my toes.
I did not step on your toes. You stepped on me. I learned to square dance when I was in 5th grade, so I had that nailed. Did you see how good I did?
You what?
Except for that dip.
Was that square dancing?
That was, it was pretty close.
One of them, I looked like I was breaking your arm when I went to dip you there.
It was hard for me to, on that turn, I wasn't sure you were going to catch me or hold me.
I've always told you.
I know,
You know
but it was still a little weird.
What'd you learn from this experience?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe my own space. How to stay in my own space, and more importantly, how to let my partner lead, which is always a challenge.
Well, it was a rhythm, you know, doubling up like that, a rhythm of life.
Yes.
How you had to step back. When I stepped forward,
Yes.
you moved to the right. I was moving to the right, you were moving to your left.
Right.
And you don't
sometimes
know right
both.
from left.
No,
We always
I
kid about
don't.
that.
But And it was hard matching up the rhythm to the music, which I really do believe that's a lot like life. We can be in one season, feel like we should be in a different season, and try to move to the rhythm of the season that we're not even in. And in doing so, we step on other people's toes or mess up and get out of our own lane.
You know, you've heard me say several times from even the pulpit or in life, talking to people, that the Spirit of God has a rhythm to it.
Yes.
And I don't have to think about breathing. Like
Yeah.
we've been sitting here and I've not thought about breathing one time.
Right.
It's a natural thing. And in life, when you find the rhythm of the kingdom of God, the rhythm of the Spirit, and He just talks to you and you talk back and He
Yes.
leads you, into that rhythm.
Yes.
You really a lot of times don't even think about it. It just becomes natural to flow.
Yeah.
And
when
that's
do you
what
let
we
him
try to
lead?
get everybody to do.
Right. I've been in situations where I decided to try to lead God around. It just doesn't work. He doesn't follow us, we follow Him.
Right, and to be the 3 experiences of the Bible that's changed my life over the past almost 40 years now, 1979, almost 40 years, is to be born of the Spirit.
Yes.
And then I tell people to be filled with the Spirit. And then, of course, to be led by, like I was trying to do you on that dance
Yes.
floor, to be led by the Spirit of God. It's one thing to be born of, filled with, but it's a whole different thing to be led by.
Yeah. Well, you also have to know His voice apart from your own. Recently I was talking to people about having to discern if it's your voice, God's voice, a third-party voice, or the voice of the enemy. And when we get those voices confused, we can find ourselves following a voice that God never intended on us following. So again, it's letting Him lead, keeping that space with your partner in life, and stay into the rhythm, which is big.
And that's what He meant when He told the disciples, "My sheep know my voice." The word there's interchangeable
Yes.
with the word. My sheep know my word. They know my voice, how God speaks to us. And
Yes.
another voice or another word they will not chase after
Yes.
when they're really intimate with mine. So, we see people all the time who don't even know where they belong, what they
Yes.
believe. They're always shifting and running everywhere from church to church or whatever. And I really believe this. They try something new because they're never satisfied. There's only satisfaction in the intimacy with the Lord that you find.
Yes.
And then you will know His voice.
Well, you always know when partners in life really connect. Did you see that professional couple that danced before we did
Oh, yeah.
together? They were able to follow each other's rhythm. Not only did they know the dance, but they knew each other. And I think the longer that you're married, the more intimate that you are with your spouse or with God, the easier that dance in life becomes. And so it's just beautiful standing back. We weren't nearly as good as they were, that we haven't been dancing together for as long as they have. So with practice, I hope that one day we can just dance around the ballroom floor of life, so to speak, just like they did. It looked effortless, seamless, and it looked like a lot of fun. So I'm glad we did that together.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
We'll do it again.
We're going to do it again.
Okay.
All right.
A harsh reality of life is that it's not always enjoyable. Everyone has experienced rejection, whether in the form of harsh words, unreciprocated love, loss, or betrayal. Most people perceive rejection as a negative occurrence, when in reality, rejection can be one of the most powerful tools in life. Downside Up offers wisdom, guidance, and personal application, while also outlining and establishing key biblical principles that promote emotional and mental wellness. Readers will understand the importance of developing a positive and God-designed self-portrait, identify their life's purpose, and maximize their potential for success. Discover the value of godly mentors and other positive relationships, and overcome negative thoughts, fear, and lack of self-confidence. Rejection is not about experiencing loss. It is an asset for fulfilling your dreams. Downside Up by Tracy Mitchell.
You know, life has a funny way of going a direction that you never think about, and that's what kind of happened to me. I thought I had it all figured out and I was living the American dream and everything was just picture perfect, but that was just on the outside. And you know, as I was going down that path of this outside image, it just one day imploded. And I'm telling you, the results were devastating. They were really damaging. And basically what happened is that, my husband and I at the time were pastoring a mega church, and we were one of the most progressive ministries, in the nation, and we were doing just really great work. And, sometimes things have a way of getting a hold of you if you really don't deal with your inner core issues. And that's really kind of what happened. And because everything was moving so fast, we never really stopped to even take notice. And one day we woke up and it's like our whole glass tower fell over and everything shattered. And unfortunately, what was left was the shattered bare bones of a life that I had to figure out how to pick up again. My story could start anywhere, but at that moment, it started with the glass tower tipping over and basically my ex-husband falling from grace and being accused and convicted of sexual assault as a bishop. Here we are in ministry, supposed to be leading people down a path to a better life, and this horrific crisis scandal happens. And I had a decision to make. Here I am facing these congregants, and I'm not knowing what to say to them, I'm going through as a wife, I'm going through as a mother. I've got 3 beautiful children that now I've got to raise alone. And at first, we thought perhaps maybe somebody was just trying to extort money from us. Well, it ended up he really was leading a double life. I never knew it as a woman. I never knew it as a wife. But there were things that I probably closed my eyes to, or things that I ignored. And if I had really paid attention, I would have noted that he was really spiraling out of control. And the worse he got, the more violent he got. And ultimately, I ended up not only with a scandal on my hands, but I ended up as a woman that was dealing with domestic violence, all while leading out front. Let me tell you something. I didn't know what to do. All I knew to do was to just hit the floor on my knees and just cry out to God and just ask for God's help and, do what the Bible says, to cast my cares upon Him. And that's what I chose to do. I literally threw, that's what that word means. You cast, you throw your cares upon God and you let Him pick you up. And so as I threw them to Him, all I knew to do was to step up, rise from the ashes, get up again, rely on God and trust Him to help me now be a single mama, no child support, no alimony, to be a single mama to a hurting church, to be a single mama to those in the community whose lives we impacted, and to lead by example and to allow the grace of God to strengthen me each and every single day, to give me what I needed each and every day to get back up and to rise again, and to lead my children down the path so that they would not give up and they would not throw in. One of the things that I always told them was that, you are not the sum total of your father's mistakes. God has great destiny for you. And so you can't live in the shadow of His mistakes, of His choices. You have to step up. You have to take charge for your life. You have to fulfill the call that God has for you. It wasn't easy. We went through a lot. We lost everything. We lost relationships. We lost finances. Our emotional and mental well-being for a while just wasn't where it needed to be. But we made a choice. And that choice is that we were going to get back up. We were going to be the example so that the world would know that God was God. That's a choice that we made. We had a lot of criticism. Our life was displayed in public. But you know what? Like Job, I said to myself, though you slay me, God, yet will I trust you. So we had to build again. We had to learn how to trust again. We had to learn how to, through our crisis, our scandal, and even me as a woman going through domestic violence, sharing our stories and being transparent and being truthful and being honest and being open. And now, today, 10 years beyond where all of that started, we're still building, but we're better today than we were. We're wiser today than we were. And you know what? We're more passionate than ever before about helping people get back up again. So it doesn't matter what happens in your life. You can overcome anything with the help of God. you can get back up again with the help of God. Just keep your hope in God, and you will come through. Life is not over. You just have a detour that you're on. So you can make it.
We are so delighted to have our dear friend, Dr. Renee, with us. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tracy.
For coming out. We have known each other, probably a decade now.
Yeah.
And you're one of the most courageous, inspiring women that I've ever really known. And long before we got to be personal friends, I picked up a copy of your book, Suffering in Silence. And from that moment that I read your book, I felt like I really had an inside track on who you were.
So
and
cool.
I know that earlier in the show today, you shared some of our story with our guests, but could you tell me a little bit why you decided to come forward, be very personal, very transparent, and very public, and why you wrote this book?
Well, it's a joy to be here with you both,
Yes.
and thank you so much. And thank you for sharing that you read my book and you felt like you had a connection to me. But this book was actually not a book that I had elected to write. I really kind of grew up in an environment where secrets were to be kept in the household. But I went through a very public scandal in 2005 that really kind of exposed me to the world after my then ex-husband and I were, major in ministry, had really developed and prospered and really had done a really great work here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. We were regulars on most of the Christian networks. And so we had really evolved and we were living the American dream. And the scandal happened and my life fell apart.
Yes.
And so it was through that process of dealing with that scandal that this book actually came about. And so as a result of having to deal with my life being exposed to the world and having all our dirty laundry, exposed, I got to the place after my ex-husband, which, by the way, let me just say this, he was convicted and is currently incarcerated for sexual assault and for drug possession. And so it's very similar to some of the movements we see now with, not to call names, but certain celebrities and certain movements that are happening now where things were happening behind the scenes. He was leading a double life. And as a result of that, the effects of his life just turned our world upside down. So he was incarcerated and my kids and I had to pick up life. I'm now a single mom. I'm now a prison wife. Now, I'm having to do this solo with no expectation of child support or alimony ever because of the circumstances. And so we got through that. So that was bad enough. Okay, we got through the scandal, but what happened in reference to this particular book, Suffering in Silence, how it is that we have to break the silence, let the suffering in, and let healing begin. Through the process, women started calling upon me. And they needed counsel and they needed help. And I'm going through the most horrific scandal and crisis in my own life. And women are calling me from around the nation saying, we need help. I need someone to talk to. And so after ministering to so many of them through their issues, then God started sending women that were in domestic situations. And I thought, Lord, you know what? I really, this is a bit much, but yet and still, God kept sending the women. I continued to minister to them. And I finally got to a place where I thought, you know what? If I'm going to be really effective in my new normal, in ministry, in what I'm called to do, then I've got to tell it all. And so this was the final piece to me sharing about my domestic abuse while living a very public life, while I was ministering to people, while I was in the forefront. And so this is the result of living that life. So I came clean, begin to, break the silence and share my story about what I was going through. And I was so afraid, but it has been so liberating for me and for so many others. Men, women, boys, and girls. The stories and the people that come to me now and really share with me about their own abuses is unbelievable. And I'm an advocate, so I don't necessarily have, programs, but I work with resources and referrals across the country to get people.
Where can our viewers get this book?
Well, you know what? My book is available on my website, ReneeHornbuckle.com. DFW.com, or they can go to Amazon and they can purchase it there. But we try to make certain that at every event, every activity that has something to do with in our community with domestic violence, that we have these books present. We try to get them into all of the shelters and all the homes so that people can really resolve their issues and really get to that place of wholeness and completeness in Him. Because I think that one of the biggest issues, I reference, the secrets that we hide. I think that we've got to get to a place where people have safe places, where they can realize they're not alone, that they're not the only ones going through this, that they can get the help that they need. And so that's really what our focus is all about.
What would you say, because I know it's one thing to be in the middle of it, it's another thing to be in your position now to be a decade plus on the other side of it. What would be the one thing to that person who's suffering in silence right now that wants to be brave enough to break through but doesn't really know how? What word of encouragement or a piece of advice would you offer them?
I think the first thing that someone really has to look at is that recognizing, first of all, they're not alone.
Yes.
Many others. I was overwhelmed by the number of people that have reached out. But they've got to accept the fact that it happened. It is what it is. So acceptance is huge. The second thing is that they have to really have a strategy and a plan, because it really does depend on your circumstance and your situation in terms of what you can do. If a person is in an abusive situation and they're living in a household, it's very dangerous to go tell somebody and then come back and have that abuser know that something happened. So there really has to be a strategy and a plan, and a lot of times that really takes gaining the confidence to really reach out to people that can connect you to the right resources, that can help you to create and develop a plan so that you can get out of that situation, especially if your life is in danger. A lot of times I deal with people that are just like, well, I don't want to leave my stuff behind. I've got a lot of things, and it's important to me that I have my stuff. Stuff is stuff. You can get stuff again. You can never regain your life once it's taken. So trying to convince somebody that, you're worth it, you matter, you have value. God never intended for you to be in this position. It takes a little bit of coaching to get a person to that place, but they have to be built up so that they can gain the courage and be bold enough to step out and say, you know what, I'm going to take back my life.
I've always said that God gave Jezebel space to repent. It says, and she repented not.
Yeah.
So God's grace, anything, He'll still expose you.
Oh, yeah.
He'll give men space to repent if they continue. I want to ask you this question. What are some of the specific warning signs? Because we've got a lot of your situation watching right now.
Yeah.
What are some of the specific warning signs to an individual, what to pay attention to, that something isn't right?
Mama used to tell me, if it don't feel right, it's not right. And a lot of times in relationships, we ignore the indicators that are there, the warning signs that are there. If something does not feel good, if someone feels as though they're attacking you, calling you names, extremely jealous, wants to control your life, wants to isolate you, separate you from your family, these are just some of the indicators that you can begin to look for. There are certainly others as well, but you've got to start someplace recognizing that, if a person demands that much of my time and they don't want me to be involved in anything else, that's just not normal. People should support one another, especially in relationships, and encourage one another. So if we're in a relationship, I want you to do well. I want you to have, other experiences. But when people want to isolate you, keep them to themselves, and just don't want anything to occur, they track you. I deal with women, especially a lot of times, that they are tracked down to their corner from their house from the moment that they leave the house to work, to the grocery stores, ultimate bondage. And a lot of times, if they really love me, they care about me a whole lot. No, it's not that. And that's how we get caught up.
It's almost being enslaved, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Somebody paying, attention to you when you haven't gotten attention, but really they're smothering you just so that you'll be isolated, name-calling, belittling you, setting expectations. A lot of jealousy, but setting expectations. One of the things that I dealt with in my relationship, and I did not realize it, is that I never could do enough. I never could do enough.
Say that again.
There was a request made of me to do something, I would do it, but it was never enough.
Or never right.
Never right,
That's something.
yeah.
Wow.
And even if it was right, it wasn't good enough. So
Yes.
yeah.
So what would you say to the person? What would be the first step? Because we've just got 2 or 3 more minutes. What would be the first step that you would have someone do?
Well, again, there's so many forms of abuse. If we're talking specifically about domestic violence, a person has to have a plan. You have to have an escape plan. You have to have it in place so that you know exactly what you're going to do, when you're going to do it. You have to have support from resources that you're already aware of. We work and refer people to the National Domestic Violence Hotline and the website, because there is detailed information there on step by step what you need to do, how you need to plan. And I like to let people know that those websites have safe escapes.
Wow.
So if someone walks up on you while you're on that website, you can easily escape and they won't know that you were on that site. They can't go back through your history and see that you were surfing for that particular information. But you got to have a plan, and then you just got to have a support system. Somebody somewhere will support you. I know it's hard to trust people. That was the thing for me. I kept thinking, where do I go? Who do I call?
Well,
what do I do?
this huge church.
I was pastoring a church. I was in the public eye. I was a community leader. I owned businesses.
Yes.
I was very visible.
Nobody's exempt.
And nobody's exempt. I mean, this epidemic does not have any socioeconomic parameters, definition, or image. It happens everywhere. And that's why we have to have the conversation. It is so vitally necessary that we talk about it. One of the things that I do for churches is I come in and I do training for them, because it's one thing to tell somebody to pray, but what we find is that people are prayer warriors. I was a prayer warrior.
Yes.
What I needed was an intervention. And I needed somebody that really
That's
could
good.
help
Can
me.
you say, we've got 30 seconds. Say that one sentence if you can articulate it again. What we need is we ask for prayer, but what we really need is...
What we really need is intervention. We need to understand how to help people walk out of this life. So it does no good to tell somebody to pray or to bring a couple in and sit down and counsel them and say, now go home and work it out. God's going to work it out. That's not going to happen, because that person probably is going to get knocked upside of the head, and we don't know if they're going to make it. So an intervention is absolutely required.
Well, I want to encourage you today, wherever you're watching from, if you need intervention today, if you know someone who does, I want to encourage you, go online. The information is the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Dr. Renee's information, her book is on the website. We want you to connect with her, get that information, and walk out of that season of silence and into a season of freedom. We thank you so much for being with us today.
I appreciate it.
And we look forward to connecting with you again. Thank you.
God bless you.